Welcome back. In this lesson, we're examining the poem, Two's Company. I'll guide you through how to answer the question step by step, based on the marking criteria, so that you can improve your exam results. Question. An imagined interaction between a human and a non-human may create humor. Examine the poem Two's Company with reference to this view. A good answer should include a brief introduction which may include the poet, question and poem and a few of the following points, not necessarily in the given words, with examples from the poem. The man who does not believe in ghosts asks others to leave him alone to spend the night on his own. E.g., although he initially wants to spend the night on his own, he is presented looking for a place to hide, which makes him a caricature or a fool. The following lines illustrate his boastfulness and overconfidence at the beginning. And just to prove I'm in the right, please leave me here to spend the night. The ghost's manner of speech and casual greeting add humor to the interaction. The ghost is not at all frightening. In fact, it behaves in an overly polite manner, which contrasts with the man's escalating panic. The greatest source of humor in the poem lies in the irony. The man, who sets out to prove his rationality and challenge superstition, ends up terrified and hiding in the cupboard, while the ghost remains calm and civil. He tries to maintain control, yet it becomes clear that his rationality is powerless in the face of the supernatural. He shuts the door and turns the lock. That noise again. He checks the doors, shutters the windows, makes a pause. To seek the safest place to hide. In his imagination, he creates his own ghost, and this adds to the humor. Question. Evaluate how the poet sheds light on human characteristics in a humorous way in Two's Company. A good answer should include a brief introduction to the poem and to the question. Identify human characteristics presented in the poem through examples: skepticism, bravery, courage, self-assuredness, cynical nature, embarrassment, overconfidence, agnostic nature, boastfulness, and hypocritical nature. The poet exploits a variety of techniques to create humor over these human characteristics, e.g., absurdity, suspense, exaggeration of his actions, irony, and rhetorical questions. Lines given in parentheses show the contrast, which adds to the humor. He laughed at them and said, "Tut, tut." He sarcastically negates the idea of ghosts. "I've never heard such tittle-tattle." He boasts about his idea of not believing in ghosts. His reactions to each sound he hears when he is in the house generate humor. Someone's outside, the silly joker, he may as well pick up the poker. His hypocritical nature creates humor as he becomes a laughing stock at the end of the poem. To seek the safest place to hide. The cupboard's strong, he creeps inside. The poet mainly highlights human qualities such as overconfidence, boastfulness, and hypocrisy. Concluding remarks. Question. How does the poet create humor in Two's Company? Discuss with detailed reference to the poem. A good answer should include a brief introduction to the poem and to the question. Humor is created through the overconfident person who reacts to the sounds he hears. The stroke of 12, but there's no clock. He shuts the door and turns the lock. The absurdity and the incredibility of the events create humor. A voice breathes softly, "How do you do?" The structure of the poem. The title itself creates humor by making the reader imagine a kind of association between two persons, but in the end, it is just an encounter with a ghost. The subtitle, "The Sad Story of a Man Who Didn't Believe in Ghosts," creates irony at the end, bringing out laughter. The first stanza describes the overconfident way of the man refusing superstitions. A scary setting is created in the first couplet. The climax, which is the encounter with the ghost, is created in the final stanza. The dramatic reversal of what is expected. The literary devices, visual and auditory imagery, tone, sarcastic. Irony, finally creates humor. The use of parentheses, which highlights the actions of the man. Rhyming couplets and the fast rhythm create a humorous effect, but, tut tut, joker, poker. His laughter is threefold. The narrator finally laughs at a certain human weakness of overestimation and boastfulness in people. He laughs at the people who believe in ghosts and also at the reader, who expects a fearful encounter with the two.